Uh, so you go into the fourth quarter the other night, you've given up 41 points, 404 yards, and then everything turned on a dime. You had, I think, 8 plays. They gained 6 yards in the fourth quarter. What, in your mind, happened? What was it? Adjustments? Was it guys playing harder? And what do you need to do to take that level of defense and have it translate more consistently over an entire game?
Yeah, I think more than anything, it was, I credit our guys. I think they played hard throughout the entire game. I think more than anything, they came together. I thought early on, NC State made some plays on us that, were right there and tipped their hat. And I think that kind of frazzled us a little bit and got us out of our got us out of our mind a little bit. And then, just the leadership on the sideline with Gilbert Frierson, Jade, Quincy. I mean, I heard several guys going into that fourth quarter just with a lot of positive leadership. And it's amazing what you can do when you play as one heartbeat. And I thought our guys really came together in the fourth quarter. And that shows a lot of growth. The same situation happened in Clemson. And we never were really able to piece it all together again, throughout that entire game. So glad to see us grow from that standpoint.
And you mentioned Jade, and there's times when you watch him and he looks like a tremendous defensive tackle, and then maybe he'll disappear for stretches of games. What's the key to him becoming more consistent?
Just trusting his technique, from his stance, from his alignment to his stance to his hands. He's a tremendous talent, plays with phenomenal effort. That's something that you can never question with Jade Severa. And it just comes with reps, and he knows it. It's one of those deals. He's on the sideline saying, "Shoot my hand, shoot my hand, shoot my hand," stuff like that. So, it's the process of becoming a great football player, is just doing your job and being consistent with it every single snap. And he does a good job with it. Like I said, some of those plays show out more in the fourth quarter. He seems to show up when the moment's the biggest. So, always encouraged by that.
Coach, we've got David Lake from Inside the U. David, go ahead.
Coach, I want to ask you about Hendon Hooker, the Virginia Tech quarterback. Just what do you remember, I guess, from last year's game? I think it might have been his first start, and seemed like it took you guys like a half to get settled in against him. Just what does he do well? What makes him kind of a quarterback that can keep defenses off balance with his skill set?
The biggest thing that Hendon Hooker does is he's a tremendous leader. When you watch, going back to even last year, I think it was Duke, they played the week before us and looked very, very flat. And then they came out and, man, they just played with a whole different energy. And really, you've seen that. I think he hasn't lost many games as a starter. And I attribute a lot of that to his leadership qualities. From a physical standpoint, he's a lot bigger than people probably think. I remember seeing him up close in person last year, and he's a big physical guy that runs the football very hard. He really throws the ball well, much better than you want a guy that can run as well as he can. You really don't want him to throw that well too. And he throws the ball very, very well. But I think what they schematically, what they do with his skill set is very hard to defend. And you can see that when you look at their stats. I think they're averaging 7 or something yards, which is like 15th in the country in yards per play. They're an explosive offense, and it all goes through him.
Coach, we've got Barry Jackson from the Miami Herald. Barry, go ahead.
Hi, Blake. What led to Jared Harrison Hunt starting ahead of John Ford? And what did you think of Ford's reaction? Were you pleased with how he responded to losing his starting job, at least for a week?
Yeah, I think Jared, when you look at the overall production, Jared had just been producing more. And as we all know, it's a production-based business. And, I thought they both played well on Saturday. I thought John actually had one of his better games of the season. For us last Friday night. So very encouraged with how he responded. They can go two ways. They can either pout and sulk about it, or they can bow their neck and come to work every single day and practice, which he did, and it showed. I thought he played probably his best game of the season.
Coach, we got David Furones of the Sun Sentinel. David, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. I wanted to ask about Takori Couch coming in on the nickel blitz. He seems to have a lot of success doing that. A guy that maybe a lot of people think of as a real cover corner, a smaller guy, but why is he so good at that, coming off the blitz and getting to the quarterback?
I think a lot of it has to do with, well, one, he's getting a lot of reps at it, but then two, Takori has got a great confidence about him. And I said that a week or two ago. He's one of those guys where size, he's like a chihuahua, man. He thinks he's a lot bigger than he is. And you like that as a defensive coordinator. But he's really gotten slippery, when he gets in there on a blitz. And a lot of that comes just, in my opinion, just a feel for it and not having any fear once he goes in there. But I think Takori's playing at an extremely high level for us right now in the nickel and at corner. Really proud of the way that guy competes every single day. And you can see the growth over the span of the last year and a half and how much better he's gotten. But I think it's just, once again, a confidence thing. And I think he has no fear once we send him in on a blitz.
Coach, we got Manny Navarro from The Athletic. Manny, go ahead.
Hey, Coach Baker. As Coach Diaz noted, you guys are tied for number one in yards per pass play on defense as a pass defense. And I know you guys have been pretty good, consistent most of the season, but for those first three quarters, obviously we saw some breakdowns. And Al in particular, the last couple of games, we know how good Al Blades is, but there's been times where he's been beaten. Just what's kind of going on with him, and what did you see? I know last week you told us sometimes maybe eyes are in the wrong place. Was that kind of the case in this game?
Well, it's funny. I thought early on we were playing man really, really well. And they just made play, and we went into the game knowing that 86 was a good player. 88 made a play in the end zone. And sometimes, they're on scholarship too. And that's part of football, NFL, part of college football, part of high school football. Sometimes you just have to tip your hat and not let, as a DB, have a short memory. Don't let it affect you. And I thought that probably had more than anything to do with it. Things that we had covered up very well, thus far, some of the crossing routes and stuff like that early in the season. I thought, like I said earlier, we kind of got out of our mind a little bit and let them making really good plays affect the routine play as the game went on. And like I stated, I thought in the fourth quarter, that was kind of the difference as we kind of got back together. I think a lot of it had to do with probably GB talking to the team at halftime and trying to calm people down and just the like I said, just the growth and the maturity of the team. Now we got to figure out how to get us out of that funk earlier, to become an elite team. But really proud of the way the guys responded, there in the fourth quarter. And I think that was probably Al's deal more than anything. Al's in a tremendous spot in that man coverage. And the guy, he makes a great play down there by his hip. And there's another time, obviously, Al had an opportunity for an interception and wasn't able to haul it in. But as a DB, we just got to have a shorter memory and move on quicker.
And then if I could, a quick follow. I know last week you played a heck of an offensive lineman, their left tackle. This week it looks like you got another one in Darashaw. You think he grades out the highest of all the Power 5 offensive linemen. Just that challenge. And then Quincy, I know, it seems like he gets the toughest draw each week, just the way he kind of handled last week and going into this game.
Yeah, I thought Quincy did a nice job for us, last week. I think their offensive line this week is really outstanding. Like you mentioned, their left tackle, their left guard, I think are the two strong points. But I think that across the board, they're a very, very solid offensive line. They like to lean on you. They mash on you in the double teams. I think it's going to be a great challenge, especially for our defensive tackles this week. But that's kind of the nature of the beast on who Quincy draws. He plays on our right side a lot more, and a lot of times the left tackle is generally there, to protect the blind side of a quarterback for a reason. So it's kind of the draw he usually gets. That's right.
Thanks.
Great. Coach Baker, thanks for spending a few minutes with us today, and good luck this week in practice.
Appreciate it. Thank y'all.